Welcome to Acton in Focus. We are here at Nashoba Brook Conservation Area with the one and only Bettina Abe, and she will be giving us an introduction to Trail Through Time. Bettina, welcome.
Thank you, Vivian.
And maybe to kick us off, what is the Trail Through Time? Is this something you want to talk about here, or should we go to the maps?
I think very briefly, I will tell you that the Trail Through Time was the brainchild of Linda McElroy. Linda McElroy has lived in Acton for many decades, raised her family here. She started the Land Stewardship Committee and was its first chair for well over a decade. And Linda loves archaeology, she likes anthropology, and she has wandered these woods for many years. And this idea came to her to create a trail through time. And it's a conceptual trail. It's not a trail that is unique in and of itself. It uses existing conservation land trails, and it connects human stories through the land.
Is there a background behind the name Trail Through Time? Is there a story?
I would say that Linda came up with the term because she imagined people following different trails and imagining thousands of years of human populations inhabiting the land and using it and stewarding it in different ways.
Right, and what are some of the distinct features along the trail?
What Linda noticed the most were the stone memories. So we don't really have any structures like houses or buildings you can go in anymore, but we have things like old foundations from settlers, early settlers. We have an old dam with the stone canals. We have Native American ceremonial stone piles that they made hundreds or even thousands of years ago. We have a stone chamber and a lot of different other stone foundations throughout the trail system here in the North Acton woods.
And of course, we have a dam that we'll be looking at later.
Yeah.
So I guess this is a great introduction. So for the viewers, follow us as Bettina takes us through more about Trail Through Time.
Right this way, come to this really nice kiosk. And this was made, the Trail Through Time required some funding to make these educational info panels. And Linda McElroy applied for Community Preservation Act funds. And that paid for these fabulous info panels and this really cool post and beam structure.
And maybe before we even get to the detail, how long has this Trail Through Time existed?
Well, the first grant Linda wrote was in the early 2000s because she noticed that the stone chamber was falling apart and was actually dangerous. So she found different archaeologists and she worked with the state to get the necessary permits to restore and rebuild the stone chamber. And once she did that, she was kind of hooked and she thought, let's create this conceptual idea of the Trail Through Time and lead people so that they can read the story or hear the story.
Right. Thank you. So please take us through the Trail Through Time visually before we take the trail.
Okay, so when you come through this kiosk, you're going to see this awesome map, and it shows the sites along the trail, and they're basically the different stops. So this shows you where there's an info panel, and the footage is showing you via a photograph what these different stone memories are that are still out on the land. And the map shows you where they are within Nashoba Brook Conservation Land Trail. There are also some on the Robbins Mill Conservation Land Trail and the Spring Hill Conservation Land Trail And these are all connected to one another. So like you can see red, that is like exiting from one conservation land and entering into another. That's what red means. Or like from parking to get you on the loop. And yellow is like the main loop of the trail. And then there's blue. And blues are either shortcuts or they bisect the trail. And the green are the trail through time specific little diversionary walks that you can take. And then these pile things tell you that they are the Native American stone piles that have ceremonial and religious meaning to the native peoples who made them.
And does the trail cross any town lines?
It does not. It's all within Acton, and they are overseen by the Acton Conservation Commission.
And so for today, where are we going next from here?
So here's where we are now at this kiosk. We're at the end of Wheeler Lane where the P is for parking. And we're just going to walk over here across this little wooden footbridge. And this is an earthen dam. And it has a big spillway and a narrow spillway. And here's a better info panel that will show you exactly how the dam mechanisms work. And Linda always did a lot of research, and so there is a lot to read, and you can read about these on there's a couple of websites. And you can read all of these. It's really important, interesting information, so you can learn more about it. But it shows like the water wheel and stuff.
And has there ever been a moment where Native Americans actually walk with you during this or through the trail through time and maybe explain some of the stone structures?
I have walked with Strong Bear Medicine of the Nashoba Praying Indians, yes. And I know that other colleagues of mine have walked with Doug Harris, and he was the Preservation Tribal Officer, Historical Officer for the Narragansett Native Americans in Rhode Island. But I couldn't possibly tell you all the other potential walks that many other Native Americans have had here. Hopefully lots. I hope they come and visit a lot.
Absolutely. So let's go to the dam.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, what bird is that?
Where?
Over there.
Where?
Over there.
Oh, it's a great blue heron.
Okay.
It's going to yell at you.
Oh.
It won't hurt you though. Isn't that adorable? It was looking at the view. Have a nice walk, Mr. Heron.
So we are walking to the dam with Bettina.
This bridge was engineered and built by Bob Guba of the Land Stewardship Committee in his driveway in just 2019. And the town helped him bring all the materials here that were pre-assembled, and they rebuilt it on site. There was an old bridge here that was falling apart, and Mr. Guba always wanted to build a truss bridge.
Wow.
So this is Bob Guba's truss bridge.
Nice.
And this is the sluiceway or the narrow spillway.
Looks like a combination of material. There is this and the wood.
Yeah, this is I think a man-made Trex plastic lumber.
Okay.
And that's so you don't get a splinter
Got it.
when you rub your hand along this.
So where are we heading?
That way. So on the right here, you can see some old stone Foundation structures, maybe this was like the mill house. We'd have to go back and look at the map. I don't have it memorized how all the engineering and the structures were built, but it's very old, and people used water power to run all kinds of tools like saws, sawmills, and forges, flour mills, like anything that you needed mechanized power.
Are there books that people can read to learn about
Hydropower or archaeology of hydropower?
Both?
Yes.
Look at how beautiful this is.
So this right here is a beaver dam. So the original dammers are beavers, and they plug this up to keep the water level high so that they can swim around and access trees for food.
And for some of my friends who might not know what beavers are, what are beavers?
Beavers are very large, I think they're rodents, and they have a big giant flat tail, and they can swim really, really well, and they have giant buck teeth, and they can cut through thick trees and fell them, and then they build a dam to block the waterway to keep the water high on the other side. They eat the wood. So this thing that we're walking on here, Vivian, is only made of earth, packed earth, a lot of tree roots, and there's some stone on the other side.
This looks kind of dangerous for people who don't have great stability because of the roots.
Yeah, it's a really, really old dam, you know, hundreds of years old, probably from the 1600s. And archaeologists believe that Native Americans had a fish weir here to catch the fish, because dams and water wheels are great in places where there's already a waterfall.
Right.
So, like, you know, the ground level changes and you get a natural waterfall. People get, aha, I'll build a dam, hold the water back, channel it into a corridor, put my water wheel, and use that for power. So the Indians, they would also look at that waterfall, and they could build nets and sticks and catch the fish as they were going over the waterfall.
Yeah. Perhaps one critical question that I forgot to ask at the start is that with the trail, you know, people often get lost because there's so many little paths. And right now, you know, as we were walking through this, I didn't quite see a marker. What should people be looking out for as they walk this trail?
That's a good question. I don't think this is blazed with our blazing system. This pathway dead ends at the dam where the water wheel is, and you can't get across there because there's a fragment of land that's privately owned. So the town can't blaze trails on that private land. So this dam part is not blazed.
All right, well, let's walk to the
You
dam.
sort of have to be in the know. And
Yeah.
I will bring my kayak here myself, and I will launch my kayak and paddle upstream.
So
and
that's allowed?
explore. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You need to know the waterway, because if I wasn't careful, I could end up going over the waterfall and crashing.
Right.
So you
No, we don't want
kind
that.
of need to know the depth of the water and where the rapids are. And I know that it's all
So
flat.
how deep is it?
It's probably 4 to 5 feet, maybe 6 at the deepest.
Okay.
It has a channel called a thalweg. The thalweg is like the main channel. So that's probably the deepest, the natural stream bed. But this is a mill pond, so it's artificially created. It's not a real pond. It's made because of the dam. And this is where they would have had their giant water wheels, where you have the elevation drop. So like they could have had a water wheel over there, and then this is maybe where they opened and closed it, and they could control how strong a force they wanted. That's why they had the second channel.
Careful. I feel like I've been to this dam, but this feels different. It looks different. What has changed?
It could be
Maybe
seasonal, and it could be water level, because you could have come here and there was no water going over it.
Right. I think
If it doesn't rain,
I feel like it's. Are there two dams or two? On this?
yes.
Okay.
There's multiple dams. There's the pencil factory dam.
That's the one I remember. The pencil
Yes.
factory.
And that's another stop on the trail through time. You know, there's both colonial, industrial, and native for over hundreds of years. You're talking hundreds of years. And Pine Hawk was determined to be 7,000 years old. On the banks
7,000
of the Assabet River.
Careful,
Yes.
Mark. I was so worried for him. Oh, wow. Okay, so what's the significance of this dam?
So basically, you know, you have a change in water level. So it can be used for fishing. If you set up nets, you can catch those. So for probably thousands of years, Native Americans used it to get food. And then the colonists came along and built a giant earthen dam and held the water back to power their tools. But the state of Massachusetts monitors all the dams in the whole state, and they give them ratings for how safe they are. And this one is considered unsafe.
Oh,
'cause the water
that's
is,
good information to have.
yeah, so the water seeps through. Like when we have a bad flooding event,
Right.
if it rains and rains and rains for a week straight, or we get tons of snow melt, the water can go over the top of the dam, and it could wash out the dam, Vivian.
I can see
Only
that.
made
you
of
know.
earth.
Right,
like
right, right.
you're standing on concrete, but this is the only human-made material here.
And I feel like we're right on the edge. Like if there is
Yeah.
more water pressure,
Yeah.
it just goes over.
Yep, and you can see that debris is kind of clogging it. So if somebody came and dug that out, the water would probably drain faster.
Whose responsibility is to drain it, to kind of remove the debris?
Nobody. It doesn't need to be maintained.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But
So-
the town of Acton, I think, is working with the state to get permits to design a breach.
So what caution would you give people who are walking this trail who get to this dam?
You just have to be so careful.
Okay.
You know, if you got little kids who can't swim, if you have dogs, keep them on a leash. They could fall in, they could get caught in the debris. You know, you just got to be super careful, make sure everybody knows how to swim, or just doesn't become entrapped.
Thank you. So what's our next stop?
Our next stop is we will go to the stone chamber.
And what before we even get there, what's great about the stone chamber? Oh, not great, but significant.
Well, for one thing, it's kind of a mystery.
Okay.
So we can talk more about that when we get there.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep.
Off to the stone chamber.
Okay. So when the town is gonna probably cut the dam open, they'll probably make a very wide breach. So they'll probably have to bring like an excavator in here. I don't know what they'll bring in. Maybe they'll just do like dynamite. But they will have a plan all written out, explained, and then they submit the plan to the state. And the state works on giving them permission to do that. Because if you make a bigger opening here, then it's less of a threat that flooding could break the whole entire thing and wash downstream and cause flooding. So that's why they are looking at breaching this dam or taking it apart.
So first of all, there is a lot going on here. There is the roots that we saw, the hazardous, trail, and the tree that looks like it's shading some part of it. So what's happening?
I think this looks like evidence of beavers starting to chew this tree. So this is, I think it's an oak tree. That's an oak leaf. Yes, you can see that oak leaves are still attached. And what those clever beavers are trying to do is chew this tree so it falls down and dams the brook.
Oh, how dangerous are these little beavers?
They're not dangerous to you or I because they're vegetarians.
Are you sure? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So how dangerous are they to our trails and our ecosystem?
They're not. They're critically important to our ecosystem.
Oh, they are?
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Quite the
when they
opposite.
dam the water, they're making little reservoirs.
Ah.
And we have terrible droughts around here every summer. So when you make a reservoir, then all the animals have water to drink, and the fish do.
That's great information to know. So people who are walking the trail through time, take time to appreciate what the beavers are doing, I guess.
Exactly.
All
Yes.
right. Off to the...
So the beavers built a dam here a few years ago, and they're doing it again. That's why there's a waterfall there.
You gotta look at this. Look at this path that we're going to walk through.
It's quite tricky.
It's quite tricky, so you better have good footwear. And see?
And stare at your feet
And
at all
stare at
times.
your feet, not your phone like me.
Yeah. A lot of people are on their phones when they hike.
But look at this. It's beautiful out here, but you gotta be careful. See, if I hadn't looked down.
And look how close the water is to the trail. In fact, it's flooding the trail.
We're just going through here.
Yes, ma'am. But
Uh,
there are a lot of close houses, so you might, if you end up in someone's backyard, you can always say, "Help, where am I?"
Right, and whoop,
Look how high the water is. Oh my goodness.
yeah, look
This
at
trail does
look at
flood
this.
every year.
but it's fun being out here.
It is so fun.
Being out here on a gorgeous day, gorgeous autumn or fall day.
We can look for other beaver evidence too. They haven't taken this birch yet.
We see the red, what I would call markers. What's the right terminology for that?
You're right, they're trail markers or,
Okay.
or blazes. And Acton has a color-coded trail system.
Okay.
Yellow is the main loop.
Oh, okay.
Red is access from parking or like exiting and going to a different conservation land. And blue is a shortcut. But
Huh.
I bet you know what the TTT is.
No, I do not.
Trail through time.
Oh, that's clever.
Yes, so Linda had that idea to, put those up.
Okay, so somebody can know that they're actually on the trail through time.
Yes.
That's excellent. That's very excellent. Okay, off we go. Look at this. So Beautiful.
Yep, they could dam there too. The brook splits here.
So it splits with what?
One canal goes that way, and then the main canal goes that way. But Tom Tidman, who was Natural Resources Director for 35 years, he always said that Nashoba Brook, and specifically right here, if you camped out here for 24 hours, you would see the most diversity, quantities, and diversity of animals, wildlife, than anywhere else in Acton.
Really?
Because
Maybe you should do that.
so rich.
Are we allowed to camp here for 24 hours?
Nope. But that fellow back there who lives in that house could.
Oh, because he lives here.
Yep.
Oh. So this trail is
You're
public.
only allowed on conservation land during daylight hours.
Got that. Beautiful.
And that's mostly so they don't have to send in rescue people to come and find you if you get lost in the dark.
And there's only one camping ground in Acton, right?
Yes.
Acton Camp.
Correct.
Got it.
And every few years you do get a story in the news. I do remember like a decade ago, 2 little girls were lost at night in here.
In here?
Yes, and they fell in the water.
Oh,
so
no.
they could have gotten hypothermia. And they brought the canine rescue team from Concord to come and find them
Wow.
by scent.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this a beautiful wall?
It is.
It's very, very old.
Is it natural?
It's man-made wall. It's just gorgeous.
Man-made by the ancestors or man-made recently?
Well, a lot of walls were Indian-made.
Okay.
And they might denote different things. And the farmers also made walls, but the farmers made use of Indian walls as well, because they could use those walls to delineate where I'm keeping my sheep on this side and you can keep your cows on that side.
Got it.
And sometimes colonials would hire native folks to build the walls for them. The Indians were very good at building walls. And Indian walls are prettier in many ways than farmer walls.
It is.
Smushy muddy.
Yep.
Nice rich soil. So I don't see any more beaver chews. Plenty of felled trees. They likely fell because their roots rotted out.
Okay, so this way?
Yes, ma'am. One of the land stewards joked that when you blaze the tree, the tree dies. Because we're always constantly having to blaze the trails.
But is that true though?
No, the paint wouldn't kill the tree. The tree falls a lot of times from strong winds, or
Right.
they're just aged out. And if they're in wetland like this, their roots rot sometimes. Some trees are happier with their roots in the water than other trees. Pine trees don't like wet feet. But if you're a squirrel and you plant a pine cone, then they will make a pine tree grow in places that are not always suitable.
So we're having so much fun on these boardwalks and enjoying them without, without worrying about falling in these brooks. So who maintains, who builds these boardwalks?
Aren't we so lucky?
We are.
Our wonderful Land Stewardship Committee volunteers come out and maintain these. And sometimes they rot out and they come out, like a lot of times Eagle Scouts will build them, but they have to be maintained. And they can last for decades. But you can see here, this is a repair with an aluminum pole, which are really great if you have deep water. And then over there, you've got some plastic piping. And that's what we use now if it's not quite as deep. And those are good support structures. And the water can flow through them.
So who takes the time to actually look and evaluate the safety of these boardwalks?
Great question. Every parcel with trail system that's named has its own land steward.
Okay. Oh, interesting. So who is the land steward here?
This is Tom Wolf.
Tom Wolf.
And his son Nathan built a really nice boardwalk on the other side. And he was chair last year.
Awesome.
He might still be chair. It's just the last meeting, John Campbell was running the meeting. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Tom, and to your son for the amazing work. All right.
This is a very long boardwalk. It's a little bit dangerous too, because you could fall off. That's how old that bridge is. It's been maintained since 1997.
So we've taken quite a hike and we are at the famous stone chamber. So what is the significance of this chamber, or what's the story behind it?
The story behind it is there's still somewhat of a mystery. We don't really know who built it. We think over the centuries it could have been used for different purposes. For a long time, Actonians called it the Potato Cave. And then this is a picture of Linda McElroy in the early 2000s, and she got the grant to restore it because it was falling down and it was very dangerous, and we didn't want anyone to get trapped in there. So she got all the permits from the state and had archaeologists come in, and they restored it to how they believed it would have looked when it was originally built. And you can see these kind of chambers in many places in the world.
So what are some of the theories behind what it was used for?
Well, a lot of them in other parts of the world, especially in the UK, like Wales, up at Anglesey Island. And there's just a great many places where stone chambers like this are. There's another one in Upton, Mass, which is just down 495 a half hour. And people believe that they could have been places for Native Americans to perform ceremonies, perhaps to go away in privacy and have prayer time, something to do with religious ceremony. Sometimes they were oriented so that the light would shine in during solstices, sunrises or sunsets, or equinoxes. Perhaps they were a time to come and meditate. We don't know exactly, yeah.
So are we going to take a deeper look at it? Or
Yeah, let's go take a look.
Okay.
But this tells a story about it, so there's always more you can read. And this has the map again.
Walking toward the stone chamber. Look at that.
So you see how it's pretty overgrown? We usually have a service project once a year or every other year, and we cut back the weeds. But we always tell people not to walk on top. And you can see there's already been a little bit of potential vandalism. This has tumbled down a bit, and probably from someone climbing on it. Because
Right.
this side is more intact than that side. Now if we go in here, we're gonna need a flashlight. So I can light the trail for your cameraman. And you want to keep your head low, Vivian, because you could bump it. Okay, you want me to go first? You light up your flashlight too.
Okay, hold on. Where is my flashlight?
It's on. It was on a moment ago. Now it's on.
Oh God, I can barely.
Okay, keep your head low. Don't bump your head. It's rocks. Rocks hurt. So this looks like a little bit of evidence of vandalism. You know, this rock has been pulled out. That's always a danger. So you come in here and then it takes another turn. There's another rock. It looks like it's been pulled out. And
It's like it's leaking.
it's either leaking or an animal came in and marked it.
Got it.
So this is the back corner. And that's what it does. And there's a couple of rocks in here. There's always big spiders. Look at that big spider. Look at its shadow on the wall. Woo! I can make it look bigger. Oop! Hello, dude. Happy Halloween.
The stone chamber.
And you can see that the ceiling's made with giant slabs. And the archaeologists and the geologists believe that these slabs came from the roof slab quarry up in the Robbins Mill.
Is there like somebody with the town who makes sure that the way it is not a danger, like it wouldn't fall on anybody?
The land stewards would
Okay.
keep the Conservation Commission informed, and if it were considered to be dangerous, they would close it.
Okay, got it. Not for claustrophobic people.
Absolutely not for claustrophobic people. And then there's this enclosure over here, and this could have been built later, like to keep animals in. And it's also a possibility that it got used as a stop on the Underground Railroad. But who knows? And it could have been, you know, for dry storage of root vegetables by colonists after all the Indians, many of the Indians were extricated from the land.
So it's been a wonderful time on the trail so far. Can you just explain where we are and where we are right now and where we came from and what part of the trail we did not get to this time, but hopefully we'll get to it in the next video?
Sure. So we're at the stone chamber, and the stone chamber is here. And remember this sort of vertical oblong yellow trail is Nashoba Brook Conservation Land. We started here at the end of Wheeler Lane, and we went to the dam, and this is Robbins Mill Pond where we stood on the dam. And then from here we walked down this yellow trail along Mill Dam Road. So there's a lot of houses along here. We walked until we got to here. And what we could look at next time is the pencil factory site. And this is more about the industrial era. And we could look also at this side. The high side is where the native sites are, the ceremonial stone piles and things like that.
All right, so it's been fantastic doing this with you as always.
And with you as well, especially, you always pick beautiful days.
Well, I have this right connection with nature,
I
so the
figured.
direct connection. So next time, just call me, holla, I'll give you the right date. But that said, what are some of, as we wrap this up, what are some of the tips and reminders for people who wanna come to this trail? The good things to do, what not to do.
Yeah, I would say consult a map. You can go to trails.actonma.gov, and you can do that on your smartphone. And there's a way to click on the map to make a blue dot, and you can see yourself following along, and there's other trail maps that you can use. You're not really going to get lost around here. There are housing developments all around this conservation land. And then just make sure you allow a lot of time, because you don't want to get trapped after dark, because you could lose your footing or get lost. And just bring lots of water and really good hiking shoes. Bug spray. Make sure you do a tick check. Check your legs.
At least you wore lighter clothing. I wore dark clothing, and ticks tend to hide in dark clothing, right?
Yeah, I don't see any on you.
I'm not worried about them
Yeah.
because I have high socks.
People always got to watch out for those critters.
Yeah, those buggers.
Yeah, so like bug spray, and then if it's summer, make sure you have just all the common sense hiking.
Right. Well, Bettina, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
There goes the water.
My pleasure.
Thank you for giving us this tour, and I look forward to the next part of the tour.
Sounds good.
And to our viewers, come out and enjoy the trail through time. It's really beautiful. But just make sure you follow the guidelines that she has given us. And for now, thank you for watching. Till next time. So how does the Friends of Pinehawk Group work with local tribes or native representatives to ensure cultural sensitivity in these stories? Or in sharing these stories?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Vivian. The Friends of Pinehawk members cultivate friendships, and we collaborate with local tribes and indigenous people by reaching out to them and inviting local tribe members and authors to give talks on topics that matter to their tribal members. So Friends of Pinehawk work closely with and advocate for, specifically the Nashoba praying Indians, for example, in their goals to live on their native lands in Littleton, and teach the community that they're still here and that they never left. The Friends of Pinehawk and its members have had long-standing relationships with various members of different New England tribes, and we've sponsored many talks by different tribal members themselves, including just a talk last week by Cheryl Stetler of the Hassanamisco Nipmuc Band. And she talked about the Mashunish dugout canoes that were discovered in a lake in Western Mass. And then we also have on Saturday, November 8th at 2 o'clock at the Acton Memorial Library, we have a talk by Nashoba Praying Indian Grand Chief Quiet Storm. And she's going to talk about how we as a community can be good stewards in the land in all spaces. And she's going to highlight how we can, better support the pollinators and biodiversity that we all rely on to sustain our life on Mother Earth. And we also promote awareness and understanding of the United South and Eastern Tribes, which is nicknamed USET, and they made a resolution called Sacred Landscapes within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And that basically says that within at least 8 of our nearby Massachusetts towns around Acton, There exists a sacred landscape which is of particular cultural value to these member tribes. And they want to partner with towns which have stewardship of the properties, like here in Acton, the Town of Acton Conservation Division, for example. And they want to create historical preservation plans that will make sure that the sacred landscape is permanently protected, because they consider them, unique and irreplaceable Indian resources. So that's how the Friends of Pine Hawk work with local tribes and to ensure cultural sensitivity.
Thank you for that information, Bettina.
Anytime.